So I wanted to kick off a little series on my channel called Do's and Don'ts, and these are quick little do's and don'ts that you can apply to pretty much anything. Today specifically we'll be talking about PayPal and do's and don'ts of PayPal. Now, why are we talking about this? We'll get into that, but without further ado, let's get into some very easy do's and don'ts of PayPal. Alright, go. So do's, if you are a small business, either a maker or an artist or what have you, do have a PayPal. It's a great system. I know some people are a little gun shy on it because of some of the other features that they have for customers, but it is a great way to keep paper records and to take money for commissions online safely that can be tracked and monitored and all that good jazz. Do, if you are a small business, maker, artist, etc., always invoice customers and have them pay as goods and services, not sending money to friends and family. Yes, PayPal will take a teensy bit of that money for themselves, but trust me, there's a reason you want to do that. If you ever have a forced refund or an issue with a customer that incites a forced refund, paying as a good or service will actually incite PayPal to work with you a bit more. They do tend to rule in favor of customer a lot, but if you've had them sign a TOS, you have all of your receipts such as shipping information, date of last payment, any contractual agreements, anything in written proof form, they are much more likely to help you out. If someone's paying to friends and family, it's not payment for a good or a service, so if they've bought something from you, and then they force refund it, you can't really dispute it because you didn't really invoice them for a good or a service. You more or less are being lent money by this person, and especially if their credit card company gets involved, it gets a little hairy because usually the credit card will work in their favor if it's a charge that they don't recognize. And where does this get especially unsavory? So if you are a maker or what have you, and you do service a under 18 clientele and you get into the mysterious world of having their mom or legal guardian pay for things, you could run the risk of that parent or legal guardian basically telling their credit card company that something was done fraudulently if they didn't tell their parent or guardian that that's what the payment was for. This is especially the case with younger people who maybe have access to their parents' PayPal account and use it to buy things without asking permission, and that could land you in hot water, especially if they paid for it as sending money to friends and family, because then you have even less protection to fight cases where mommy decided she doesn't want to pay for a fursuit anymore. So basically, if you're going to use PayPal for that, do invoice for goods and services, do have one, and do make sure that anytime you have an under 18 customer or a customer who is not using their credit card or their bank account tied to the account to pay for something, that you have written consent from either them, their parent, or anyone tied to that account so that you can protect yourself in the event of a forced refund from mom. Don'ts. Do not have people pay you as goods or services. I can't emphasize this enough. Also, do not, whatever you do, have a situation where multiple of these forced refunds come to light. Now, whether it's because they're doing what I said earlier and they've used mom's credit card and then mom decides she doesn't want a fursuit, or if you just didn't deliver a product on time, they freaked out and hit forced refund, what you don't want to have happen is have PayPal deactivate that account or make it no longer possible for you to run money through it. So what happens is if you've had a forced charge on that account, depending on how much money is in your PayPal at that given time, it'll either take the money out of what you have in PayPal, or if you owe money to PayPal, they will take it right out of your bank account, and that is not good. So as much as you can, try to avoid situations where you have forced refunds. But if you do and it's wrongfully done, keep receipts of everything just in case you get dinged. So there are other services out there like Venmo and, paying people directly from your bank. But I would strongly advise, as much as you can, to stick to PayPal because it does have such a good system. Stripe is also pretty good. Square is pretty reasonable. But PayPal is probably the most reasonable in price for you and easiest for them to navigate in terms of how hard it is for them to pay you. You can totally use Venmo if you want. As far as I know, there is no goods and services option, so you do kind of have to be careful because you might run into that friends or family situation where it's not for a good or service, and if they really want to be mean and refund you, it could get very hairy. But if you're going to use one of those, make sure you're very explicit on the terms of service and just be very, very careful because those don't have as much protection legally as, say, a PayPal. Other than Square and Stripe. Those are pretty good. Venmo, maybe not. So why am I talking about this exactly? Well, an incident happened recently where someone trying to sell their fursuit had a customer who was underage borrow her mom's credit card and essentially pay for the suit. The suit was shipped to this individual, and then mom saw the charge and refund happened. And because this younger person paid through the way of goods and services, did not pay through the way of goods and services, the person selling did not have as much protection. Here's a full breakdown. So all of this started when I saw this post on GoFundMe. I was a little confused, wasn't really sure what was going on, so I dug a little deeper into the Beware that they linked. That will be in the description, and here is a bit of a roller coaster into exactly what happened here and why it's real important to ensure that if you have customers under 18 or if you're selling under 18, you want to be really careful. So this all kind of started when user Strawberry Milk decided to sell one of their Don't Hug Cacti suits. As many of you know, those suits ain't cheap. Their suit was valued up to $3,200 roughly after shipping, handling, and the cost of the suit itself. And they were in contact with someone who went by Loli the Tigger and a few other names. We're just going to go with Loli here. Now, when they initially decided to sell Loli, they decided to do it in a payment plan-like system in 3 payments. And all contact was made with this user through Telegram, and some Instagram and live stream and a bunch of other mediums. Again, I'll link this below for reference. So after they had decided to buy this suit and they had finalized all the details, they agreed on the price and it was paid in full June 1st, and Strawberry Milk went off to BLFC and shipped it around the 11th of June. So once this was all done, it arrived on the 16th and everything kind of seemed fine. The suit was altered to fit this person, and I guess the person posted images wearing the suit. If you actually check this person's Twitter handle and Twitter account, they did actually have pictures up. I don't know if they still are, but basically it was confirmed that this suit arrived with its new owner on the time agreed upon. But as they tend to get, this got hairy around July 1st when it appears as though Loli, the user, had force charged all of the money that they had paid for the suit back, and Strawberry Milk saw a negative $3,000 balance in their account. This is really terrifying if this has ever happened to you, and you will know from experience that once this happens, it sets off a lot of red flags. They did make an effort to contact Lola or Loli, the person they were speaking to,
and they were instructed to respond to the claim because they were on the phone with their bank and PayPal was working to resolve it. Everything seemed to be kind of fine, and essentially not much happened here. Not a whole lot of traction, and things kind of kept going south. And from there, it didn't really get much better. Strawberry decided to contact PayPal, provide them with all the evidence that they would need. However, unfortunately, because this person paid as friends and family rather than goods and services, it made it a whole lot harder. And the card company had actually issued the refund that had been dinged to Strawberry Milk's account, and it basically caused a lot of issues. I think around this time, this is when Strawberry started the GoFundMe to try to get back the money that they had lost, essentially, on this suit, and was making efforts to try to reach out to either Lola or anyone else affiliated with either their parents or what have you, because I think it was at this point they realized something was probably fishy and wrong, and the user wasn't being entirely honest. So that led to the final resolution. So today, July 25th, Strawberry actually was able to make contact with the parents of Lola and was able to reach her, and it would appear that Lola stole their parents' credit card to purchase the suit, unbeknownst to their mother, and so that essentially was what happened with the force charge, because honestly, when the mom probably force charged the refund, they thought it was a fraudulent claim or someone on the internet stealing their identity, or, you know, any number of reasons that moms assume things. And the credit card company had actually sided with Lola. Now that they have gotten in contact with the mother has agreed to send the suit back as it was incorrectly paid for / not paid for at all / their kid stole their credit card. That is pretty fucked up. And they demonstrated some really great parenting by agreeing to send the suit back. Strawberry Milk can now sell this suit to whoever they want, hopefully with better results the next time, and is waiting for the suit to come back to see if there are any damages, need to be any alterations to fit its prospective new owner, and just to kind of analyze the whole situation. And they have all these screenshots and proof, and again, I will link that all down below. But this, kids, is why I myself, if I had a small company, would not typically work with people who are 18 and younger, or sorry, under the age of 18, and it's a pretty compelling reason why maybe you shouldn't as well.
So what can we learn from this? If you're gonna use a payment service, be real careful. Make sure that if you're going to use one, you do have plenty of evidence of all communication. The best way to do this is save it in a folder on your computer, or if you do have Google Drive, save it in a Drive folder so you can reference it whenever you need. Always take screenshots as much as you can and keep contact as much as you can. If the person ordering from you looks like they have a sketchy PayPal, like it may not be theirs, it might be their mother or father's, what I find works best is if it's tied to an email that does not match the email that you were contacted on, contact that email before you start the order. What will happen sometimes is if it is a parent or guardian and they are okay with the commission, they will tell you explicitly that that is okay. And then what you can have them do is sign an additional TOS because it's being billed to them, yada, 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 yada. Now, if it doesn't match and they seem a bit distraught, don't do the commission. Very simple, just don't do it. Of course, if you've already gotten through these 2 steps and haven't done either of these, the next best thing you can do is ask for contact information for that person's parent or legal guardian, so that if there's an issue, you can reach out to the person who's actually going to be paying you. And if it's not the customer, it's their mom, you want to make sure that their mom is okay with that big of a charge on their credit card. Because what will happen is if they haven't talked to their mom and the charge goes through, any parent that is not super well versed in the furry community or doesn't really know how the commission system works here will freak out and might call the credit card company and might have that charge removed, which may result in PayPal force refunding which is no good for anybody, especially you. But that is probably the safest way to go about it. The other way to deal with this, just don't take on clients under 18, or if you're going to be selling a suit to someone who is under the age of 18 and you suspect they may not be paying for it themselves, ask to speak to their parent or legal guardian. This might sound very invasive, but trust me, it helps. Ask to speak to the legal parent or guardian to ensure that they are okay with it, and also helps to have them in the loop because, you know, if the commission arrives while the kid's at school, mom or dad will know to pick it up off the porch and take it inside in the event it gets delivered in the rain, in the event they don't live in a super safe neighborhood where that could get stolen. You can frame it however you want, but essentially what you want to do is make sure whoever is paying for that commission, whose actual credit card is paying for it, is not going to zing you for that charge. And the best way to do that is to contact the person whose name is actually attached to the PayPal account or credit card and okay it with them. And if you're out of the woods with that, that'll work. Now, the other reason you want to have them sign the TOS as well is if mom or dad decide halfway through the commission that, let's say, Jessica has been very bad for whatever reason, isn't doing their homework, isn't going to class, and they decide they're going to punish them by canceling the commission, and you're halfway through and they don't really get how your refund process works, whether you have like a security deposit or whatever, that also can bite you in the bum, because then you're basically getting a forced charge for something that was agreed upon, and if they haven't signed the TOS, the actual physical parent, you don't have any protection because the only agreement you had was with the kid, and the kid's name's not on the credit card. And if the credit card gets charged back, it's not the kid, it's the parent. And you can see where this gets not so good. Yeah, it doesn't get very good. So that is a great reason to always make sure everybody whose name is on the actual card or account or the person making it rain signs a TOS and is okay with the money coming out of their account, just in case something happens, because usually with an underage fursuit commissioner, it won't always be bad, but you know, if something happens, it's just better to have that protection in place. Okay, so I know this was a quick one, but I hope it was helpful for you guys to understand why all those things should be done. And again, really happy for the person who actually was able to get their suit back. Unfortunately, they're still short some money because shipping and, you know, but they are going to be able to resell that suit, hopefully to someone who will be more responsible when commissioning, or not commissioning, when buying it off of them. And I wish them all the best of luck. I'm really glad it came to a resolution today, and hopefully this never happens again ever, although it probably will. Good night!